Alright, so I already recorded this video, but it took like 20 minutes to do it, right? And the microphone wasn't even on. So this is my second attempt. Actually, it's my third attempt because some reason my PS4 cut off midway through my first one. But this is my Black Widow build, and it's not even a build. It's just an overall, just a general play style. So it's not like, hey, get every single piece from this and equip it. Is again, it's a play style. I call it the Dark Magician. I just like being able to get in and get out of danger, and this can be used for OLT. I run this for my OLT, for my Tachyon Rift, and it's all about spreading status effects and going invisible as much as possible with a lot of vibranium, which is why I call it the Dark Magician, right? So for my first piece, I have the faultless vibranium payload gloves. If I hit somebody with a crit, then guess what? Then they are going to turn purple. And right now, it's probably not going to proc because I'm in the harm room. So for some reason, it doesn't proc like that in the harm room. But again, these payloads are amazing. You have to go to the Wakanda vendor. You don't have to go to the Wakanda vendor to get it, but you can go to the Wakanda vendor to get this. And again, it meshes very, very good with my build. And another thing, while I still have it on my mind, is let's say I hit him with a heavy combo, right? Let's say I do a heavy combo. And that's automatically going to do lightning effect. You see that lightning right there? That's shock. So if I do a heavy combo with the shock, most of the time, if I'm not in this harm room tutorial, they will have a payload. And what happens whenever you have two status effects of the opposite charges? Guess what? You have a battery effect. That's 4 times as much damage, right? So that's why I run the payload, or that's one reason why I run the payload. Other than that, it'll help out the entire team because they will have a lot more damage simply because of the battery effect. And for these gloves or for this piece right here, you can just see I have the pistol and the gamma and the range power attack give a damage buff. Now I prefer gamma over any other piece or any other status that I could have equipped right here, including plasma, because Black Widow has plasma within her skill tree. But again, this spreads like wildfire, so that's why I really like having it, because again, this is what this build is based on. It's spreading the status effect and negating enemies' attacks and debuffing enemies and buffing yourself through crit chance and proficiency and intensity. And for my third piece, I have the Hive Mind Vest, which I have the Jarvis Barrier on Perfect Evade. I don't like using Jarvis Barrier because I want to feel the consequences of me not being able to dodge or whatnot. But it comes on there, and the last 2 perks are pretty good, and it has Might, Valor, and Resilience on it too. I think I got this a while back, so that's why I run this one right here. So you have the extra evade, which is an extra 30% on evades, and what I like about it is because, like, let's say I'm about to get hit, hey, I can evade. Self-explanatory, right? And for my fourth piece, back to the evade. Okay, so this is what's really important about her, right? Black Widow, lives and dies by her buffs through crit chance and by that red bar on the top right there. See that red bar on the top? That's my intrinsic meter. If I get hit once like that right there, I meant to get hit. That was not an accident. That was on purpose. My bar is going to go down, my intrinsic bar and my health bar. Right, so if I have this extended evade, that helps me not get hit, obviously. And my fourth piece, this is one of the pieces within this build that really helps out. Now you can have a Tachyon Surge piece right here. I like this one right here a lot more because it's a little bit more consistent, right? You get the extra impact resistance whenever you parry somebody. So let's say this guy right here is attacking me and I parry him, but let's say he was like way back here punching me like he was Mr. Fantastic. I don't know why they do that in this game, but they do that. They're not going to do it right now. I can parry him, and let's say there's a guy right here, like right here, it's going to hit that person and they can get a vibranium effect. It's really weird how that works out, but yeah, that happens, right? Alright, now another thing with the parry, while I'm on parry, like let's say you go and you parry him, so this is a regular parry just by hitting R2. But if I parry and press square, then I'll deal shock damage, right? Which is very good, especially if they already have the vibranium, because again, that's like an extra 3 times as much damage. Enemies affected by a successful parry take 25% more damage from any attack, and this helps out a lot because it buffs you. And I'm not sure if this buffs your team or not. I feel like it does though. If anybody wants to try this out and parry an enemy and see if your teammate deals an extra 25% more damage to the enemy, then I would appreciate if you all did that, because I would like to see if, yeah, I would like to see if that extra 25% more damage applies to you as well as your teammates. And I feel like it does, to be honest. And again, this is a very good team build too. All right, so this one right here, I have the Cosmic ISO of Infinity. This is, not I ain't gonna say it's a must-have, but yeah, this is a must-have. If you don't have this, then you can always switch this vest out for this one right here. I have the extra 200% willpower regeneration when overcharged. You get this from the hives, if I'm not mistaken, or you can get something like this right here. Extra 200% willpower regeneration when invisible. Now you may say, oh, well, where's that regeneration going to come from? Where's it going to come from if I don't have any type of regeneration? But Black Widow has regeneration specs within her skill tree, and for some reason nothing is highlighted in my skill tree right now. So anytime I'm doing damage, I get an extra 1 point of willpower while overcharged. And again, if I have the other vest on, it's going to give me the extra 200%. And this one right here, anytime I'm invisible, I get an extra 1% regeneration. So if I take those 1% and then 1 point and multiply it by an extra 200%, don't know what that math is, but I know that it will heal you quicker than a Cosmic ISO. But you have to be in either invisible or overcharged, which is not hard to get. So if you don't have the Cosmic ISO of Infinity, which I did not have until like last week, you can always run either this vest right here, where you get an extra willpower regeneration when overcharged, or you can have this one right here. You can have the extra willpower regeneration when invisible. And again, oh, this one right here, this Red Room Corset, this one's good too, but I don't run it because I won't have enough damage. Now this gives you an extra 0.3% willpower regeneration when dealing any type of damage on top of it. But yeah, you run that, then I'm not gonna say you're a tank, but you'll be able to regenerate really quickly. And this one I have the might, triple might, simply because it helps my stats, right? It helps my stats. And y'all been seeing my stats probably fluctuate back and forth. That's because one was with the damage buff and one wasn't. This doesn't look that great, but again, once you have all of her buff switches, pretty easy with Black Widow. It's pretty insane. And for this last piece right here, for my major artifact, I have the yeah, whatever this is, I have this one equipped. I used to run this ring of Nebulung or whatever, but I found this one to be a lot better, right? Especially if you can get your heroic support rate to 22%. And the reason why I found this to be a lot better is because let's say I'm overcharged, right? Let's say I'm fighting, boom, 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 I'm fighting, I'm overcharged, and let's say I throw a grenade out. If you throw a grenade out while you're overcharged, guess what? You become invisible, because that's when in her skill tree. I don't know where it's at in the skill tree, but trust me, you become invisible whenever you throw a grenade out while you're overcharged, right? And it's a 4-second invisibility. But let's say I throw my grenade out and I'm overcharged, and I throw my grenade out, boom, I'm invisible, boom, I hit him with a crit. And guess what? That's going to extend that invisibility from 3 seconds to 4 seconds. And with Black Widow, you can land like 10 hits in 2 seconds. You know, so that'll be a 3-second invisibility to a 15-second invisibility. And remember, that's invisibility. That's my heroic support, right? And I don't even have to use my heroic support. All I got to do is throw a grenade out on the ground. But you have to be overcharged in order for that to happen. And that's why I have this one. It's a lot more beneficial. It's less beneficial for all of your other heroics, but yeah, Black Widow Ultimate Heroic is a lifesaver, but it's pretty underwhelming. So this also has the extra willpower regeneration effectiveness while invisible too. So you get a 2 for 1. Now on the skills, if you have Black Widow to level 50, you should have all of these equipped. Unless you're like me and you equip 10 of these and then just go ahead and start doing all of these first. But yeah, if you're level 50, then you should have all of these equipped. Right. One thing that I really like about her, Black Widow, is the sweeping signature attack, and one way I'm able to implement that within her build or within this. And again, this is not a build, this is more of a play style, right? I'm able to do a little spinny sweep, which these guys right here, I might not be able to do the sweep on them like that. See, some reason it's not working right now. I don't know why. So I can sweep him up in the air, and he's not going up in the air, but they fly up in the air off the sweep, and you throw a grenade out right up under them, and then you're able to shoot them like right there. So that's technically 3 different status effects that can be applied within a few seconds, right? So that's a very, very good move. Second part is her heavy combo finishers. All right, so it says within her skill tree to do a heavy combo finisher, You have to hit, I think it's triangle, 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 like that, or either square, 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 triangle. Now there's a faster way you can do it too. You can jump, hold triangle, press circle, and then press triangle again, right? So again, that's jump, press, jump, hold triangle, circle, press triangle again. And that's a lot faster way, and it will the status effects for a heavy combo finisher too. So I just put this one on right here just to show, right? So on this first jump, I'm not gonna do any kind of status, right? So I don't do any. But if I do it like this, circle, you see how it gets the extra, that gamma status from the heavy combo. But that's just a little trick for Black Widow or whatnot. And her support ability, I have this one activated. Defeated enemies while in Villa of Shadows has a 35% chance to drop heroic orbs with an S. So sometimes you can have an enemy drop 2 orbs at once while you're invisible. I had this one on, but I don't need the extra 25% crit chance. And just by me being able to go invisible by being overcharged and throwing out my grenade, if I throw out my grenade and I'm overcharged, I become invisible, and I'm able to get an heroic orb just like that. So I don't really need this one. But if you are fighting enemies where it's like only 10 of them or 5 of them, and they're like bosses or whatnot, I would recommend having this one on, unless you just plan on melting each one in like 2 seconds. And if that's the case, then you don't even need this, right? But just for most purposes, I keep this one on. And for this one right here, this is all about how you want to help your teammates. Um, you can read through it and find out whichever one you like. At the end of the day, all of it helps your team. And for this one right here, I have the taser dart because it deals shock. This one does not deal shock. It says an electric field, but it does not deal shock damage. This one deals shock damage. And what's good about it is you don't have to hit the person. You can literally shoot this at the ground. And as long as somebody is within, proximity, then um, then they'll be shocked. Why did I exit out? And this one right here, I have the paralyzing bite because I get the extra 40% stun damage, which really helps out because I don't have that much range. I have 0 range now that I look at it. I have 0. I don't have this one equipped because let's say I haven't gone invisible, right, through my support heroic. So all my orbs will, stay on the ground, right, unless I can pick up orbs that'll replenish this. And I don't want to be getting a whole bunch of orbs that replenish this because, again, I want to be able to maintain my invisibility later. So I'll be able to keep the orbs on the ground a lot longer by running this. And not only that, this one does a lot more damage, and I already get like 3 of them. So, yeah. Her ultimate heroic, I think I already talked about it once. It's a little underwhelming. So I just have this one equipped. And you can change it to this. Enemies have a 15% chance to drop regen packs. That's actually a legit 15% because they don't drop it more than 50%. So, and I'm never in overcharge like that, so it's whatever. I don't have this one because I don't want to be in overcharge that much. So, yeah, I don't have it extended by 4 seconds, but I do have a damage resistance on there, which helps out. Overcharge or this ultimate heroic can be a lifesaver, right? I think I've been saying overcharge for the last 10 seconds, but this can be a lifesaver, this ultimate ability, simply because of the damage resistance. And for her last part within the skill set, increased damage by 5% while overcharged. That's not 5%, that's 12%. I looked at it a while back. That is definitely 12% and not 5. And 12% is higher than 10% on range, so I have this one. And 12% is not higher than 15%, but that's 15% on crit damage. This is base damage, so I'd rather have this one right here. And I don't know why this one is not clicked, but all attacks have increased heroic charge rate of the shadow ops meter, which your shadow ops meter is that little red bar right on the top of the screen. I'm trying to shoot, but I didn't realize the red bar is going to go up. Yeah, that's your intrinsic meter. So I have that one clicked off. And for this one right here, I have the extra 1 point willpower regeneration when overcharged. I already talked about it. And for my range aspect, which is, grenades, I have this hazard grenade, and if I throw my plasma out, it stays on the ground for like a few seconds, right? So he can still walk in it. I can just throw it out right here. Eventually he'll get to it. And it's not as long as Thor's Bifrost, but it's pretty long. It's long enough. If he wants to come and chase me, he can come and get it, right? See, it'll still keep going. So that's why I have that one, and it deals with status effects a lot quicker than the proximity grenades. But the proximity grenades are pretty cool, but it doesn't do enough status to stop people. So that's why I don't run this one unless I have my intensity up to like a lot percent. But yeah, if my intensity is that high, then I'm having waste somewhere within my build. And again, I have the plasma, and let's say you have plasma on your pistol or whatnot, then obviously you want to switch to cryo right here. You can have shock damage, but I feel like that's a little over. It's not really overkill, but you get shocked from her attack. So, and this one right here, I have the extended magazines. One thing about her magazine, they can be reloaded without going to zero. So all you have to do is hit right, left. See how it went from 30 something to 30 something, or you get left and right, and it automatically reload. Right. So right now I have 27 grenades. Like let's say, I'm just turning around, boom, boom, boom. Now I got 34. Saw that evade? That evades is far. That's why I run it. But now let's go back over to the invisibility section. Increase stun by 15% while invisible. Again, whatever you don't have on your build or whatever you want to have more of, go for it, right? I have my status damage increase. Actually, this one is pretty important, right? This one's pretty important. Increase status damage while invisible by 20%. Increase status damage while invisible by 20%. Now, again, if I am fighting and I'm overcharged and I throw out my grenade, guess what? I become invisible. And as soon as I become invisible, guess what? That status damage will increase. So if I'm fighting, he could be at full health. If not just him, just anybody in general. If I become overcharged and I throw out my grenade, then that's a lot of damage. Let's just say that's a lot of damage, and it spreads out. So it's three things happening at one time. So that's why I have this one right here highlighted. For this part, I have extended invisibility by 2 seconds. I think that's actually like 5 seconds or something like that. It's not 2 seconds. I think it's more like 5. Now with Black Widow, you can have a vest that will allow you to have all three of these highlighted, but I don't have that vest equipped. And there's another vest that you can have where it allows you to have 2 of these highlighted, but I don't have that vest either. I have it, but I don't have it on. And for this part on my invisibility, I used to run this one, the extra 20% crit chance, but that's overkill. Crit chance is probably like 70% while I'm invisible. So I don't want anything dealing with crit chance, so I just push the damage, right? But again, if you find that you have a lot of crit damage just from your build, then obviously, switch it up and put crit chance on this. Again, this is not, something that you have to follow to a T. It's just the entire concept of the Dark Magician, right? And have heroic takedowns give you an heroic orb. This one right here, I have range attack damage increased, my base range attack by 10%. And again, if you don't have as much intensity, maybe you want to put a little bit of stun on there. I chose not to have any range damage, so I went ahead and put range attack on mine. And for this last part, this part is debatable right here. This is debatable. So you get a 25% increased damage from light and heavy combo finishers, right? I'm not necessarily gonna be. I ain't gonna lie. Her heavy combo finisher is pretty OP. It's pretty boss, especially whenever you have three or four different statuses going on, because that's one of her only AOE effects, and it only does an effect like right in front of her, probably with a 5 meter distance or whatnot. But I prefer to have this one right here on. My light and heavy attacks boost my heroic meters by 5% because if I can become invisible whenever I want, I'm going to have an extra 15% crit damage anyway. So I have this one in order to have this a lot more, right? But again, you can switch this out and you can definitely tell a difference in the two. But and the last part I was going to talk about with the Black Widow, I don't think I covered it like that, is her evade. Her evade has shock damage. Like I said, I'm not sure if I talked about this because I recorded this video like 4 times already, right? This has shock damage, right? So if I'm hitting somebody, and again, her payload is not going off right now, but again, if I parry, it does a shock damage, right? So if he already has the vibranium status effect going on, and I hit him with the parry or whatever, it's gonna deal that shock damage, and I get a 4, pretty much like a 3 times extra damage just from the battery effect, just by parrying, right? So that goes well with this extra damage done to any enemy who has been parried, right? So it's all about stacking her effects, and that's pretty much what this whole Black Widow build is. If you're interested, in any other type of build videos, if you have any type of suggestions, just let me know. If you want to see anything else, or if you have any suggestions for me, I've been playing this game for a while, and I'm finding new ways to play with Black Widow and other characters, um, just every day, right? So again, thanks for watching, and hopefully this video becomes useful to you at some point.